the playoff race heats up with key Week 11 matchups that could significantly impact the college football playoff picture. Here's a look at 5 high-stakes games that could shape the road to the postseason. Number 11 Alabama versus number 15 LSU. This SEC clash is practically an elimination game for both teams' playoff hopes. Despite Alabama's mixed results, which include a significant victory over Georgia and a disappointing loss to Vanderbilt, the Crimson Tide must prevail to have a chance at the playoffs. LSU faces similar stakes, as their season-opening defeat to Southern California now looks worse with each USC loss. The Tigers need to bounce back from a tough game against Texas A&M. A loss for either team likely ends its hopes of reaching the SEC title game and dampens any chance of securing a playoff spot. Number 2 Georgia versus number 16 Mississippi. Georgia is currently on track for the playoffs, but this matchup against Mississippi is the Rebels' last shot to stay in the race. Entering Week 11 with a 7-2 record, Ole Miss has yet to secure a statement victory, with losses to LSU and Kentucky undercutting its playoff potential. If the Rebels hope to stay alive in the postseason hunt, they'll need to notch a massive win over the Bulldogs. For Georgia, a win here would virtually solidify their path to the SEC championship and a playoff berth, barring any major upsets down the stretch. Number 24, Colorado versus Texas Tech. Colorado didn't play last week, but still saw its playoff chances boosted, courtesy of Texas Tech. Now, the Buffaloes have a chance to build on that momentum in this Big 12 showdown. Colorado, currently in second place in the Big 12 with a 5-1 conference record, has a shot at the conference title game if they can keep up with Iowa State and avoid slip-ups. Texas Tech, meanwhile, revived its playoff hopes with a big win over previously undefeated Iowa State. A win over Colorado would give them consecutive ranked victories and possibly a spot in the top 25, keeping their conference title dreams alive. Number 17, Clemson versus Virginia Tech. Clemson's path to the ACC title game looked straightforward just weeks ago, but after a disappointing ranking of 23rd in the initial playoff reveal, the Tigers are in must-win mode. A tough season-opening loss to Georgia looms even larger now, especially after Clemson faltered against Louisville. Heading to Lane Stadium to face Virginia Tech, Clemson needs a quality win to stay relevant in the playoff discussion. Another loss would likely shut down any shot the Tigers have at an ACC championship appearance, making this a pivotal game for Dabo Swinney's squad. Number 18, Iowa State versus Kansas. After a painful last-minute loss to Texas Tech, Iowa State needs to bounce back against Kansas to keep their playoff hopes alive. Despite a respectable 17th place spot in the first playoff rankings, the Cyclones' lack of a strong schedule has limited their standing. With their best win over rival Iowa and still needing to face tougher Big 12 teams, Iowa State's margin for error is razor-thin. A win here would keep them on track for a potential 11-1 finish and a conference title game bid, while a loss to Kansas, a team with high preseason expectations that's faltered in close games, would all but derail their postseason aspirations. Each of these matchups offers a critical path forward, or a potential dead end, for playoff hopeful teams, underscoring the heightened stakes of November football.